I've been filming video journals ever since 2010, which was well before the word vlog came to be. I've always treated these videos the same as a written journal. They tell the honest story of what happened on each day of a trip. Sometimes people comment that my videos are a bit too slow, I talk too much, or I didn't even take a photo on a given day. Perhaps people expect these videos to be a constant source of exciting entertainment. But not every day is going to be exciting. Not every day is going to result in an amazing photo. The days where everything comes together and I take a great photo are oftentimes the result of many other days spent wandering, watching, and waiting for a good subject. Without the lows, it's difficult to appreciate the highs. It can be a challenge at times to produce a video for every day of the trip, but it's important to tell the entire story, including those days when nothing really happens, or those days like today where I do expose some film, but the shots are average at best. It was on the morning of day 7 that I decided to leave behind the dust and wind of Death Valley and head towards the shelter of Zion National Park. Without the ability to leave my camera overnight in Death Valley, I'm not able to shoot before sunrise when the wind is calm and the light is at its best. I'm now working with my backup camera, which is especially prone to wind vibration. With a storm heading through the region, I had a feeling there'd be some water in the washes on the east side of Zion, and as the temperatures drop over the coming days, I might have the opportunity to photograph some ice abstracts. This is something I could definitely photograph with my existing equipment. It's a matter of knowing my limitations and working within them to hopefully expose some film.
So I had this really bad dream last night. I had a dream that I went on a trip to Death Valley and everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. I broke cameras, I broke vehicles, and then I woke up here in Zion and everything seems to be just a little bit nicer. I already witnessed the most adorable flash flood ever. That was pretty nice. But I came over here to Zion just basically because I want a little change of scenery. I exposed a few sheets of film in Death Valley. I don't have a ton of high hopes for it, but if I get something out of it, that's great. One of the things I really enjoyed in Zion last winter was some of the ice abstract stuff in the washes on the east side. And so I came over here and there was a relatively warm system that went through recently, and so there's a lot of rain and that kind of melted away a lot of snow that was here. But with the rain that happened overnight, the washes are kind of coming alive right now, and it's pretty cool to watch the little flash flood work its way through the rocks and all that. But I'm thinking that maybe this water flowing through here will be enough to kind of clear out the washes. The pools right now are kind of a brownish color. It's not a pretty looking color of water, but maybe as the water flows through and continues to flow through, it'll flush out a lot of the contaminants and get to some more clear water. And if that's the case, it's going to start getting colder and colder each night throughout the week. Definitely below freezing up here on the east side. So I'm really hoping that maybe there'll be a chance of getting some ice abstract images as the water freezes overnight and then the water drains away, because that was something I really enjoyed photographing here last winter. But we'll see what happens. I just got into the park probably about 40 minutes ago. And so now I'm just kind of wandering around and trying to see what I can find here. While wandering around, I found kind of this cool little hillside here with all these oak leaves, a little bit of maple leaves, and it kind of been flattened down by the snow that was here a few weeks ago, and some of the rain overnight gave it all kinds of nice color because of all the moisture in there. So I used my normal lens, overextended my bellows, and basically just shot a whole frame of chaos here as these leaves are kind of starting to decay a little bit. So it's not really this is the perfect fall color sort of leaf shot. This is the leaves turning back into the soil kind of circle of life sort of photo. But I exposed a sheet of Velvia 50, and I might do a sheet of Provia as well, just because I have it with me. But it's kind of good to at least be able to expose some film today. And I got some other ideas of some stuff I want to shoot. Some of the maples and oaks look really beautiful in the wintertime when there's no leaves on them, especially when they're backed up against some sandstone. So I want to see if I can find some sort of composition that makes use of that, maybe some bushes in the foreground or something along those lines. Then we'll see what happens overnight. Hopefully it gets kind of cold. Hopefully some ice forms down in the washes, and I have some ice stuff I can photograph as well. But feeling pretty good about exposing some film so far today on my first day here in Zion. So after shooting the photos of those leaves on the ground, I decided to drive down to the main canyon because I want to kind of scope things out and kind of get a feeling for the conditions of everything. And in the past few days, there was a pretty big rock fall that blocked the road. Somewhere beyond the grotto, I believe, there's a rock face over there, which I think is where the rock fell down. And so you can drive as far as the lodge, and then that's it, which is fine. I mean, I'm sure they might get that cleared in the coming days, which is good. But I kind of went to the area before there, and I just found myself fixated on the winter cottonwood trees. I just love the character, the way the branches are all intertwined in like the really light colors, especially when set up against some of these red earthen cliffs. So I found this one tree that looked pretty nice, and it was set up against a red earthen cliff. Had kind of different tones of red in the background as the slope was kind of back behind it somewhat diagonally. I wanted to take sort of a close-up shot of that tree, not showing the base of it, not showing the top of it, just kind of the core middle area of that tree. But here's the thing. To do that, I needed to use my 600mm lens. It's a Fuji lens. It's a really, really good lens, but it requires a lot of bellows extension. And that would be just fine on my Ebony camera, but obviously I don't have my Ebony camera, so the Ritter camera, which is a really, really lightweight backpacking type camera for me, is really pushing it to use a 600mm lens on there. So what I did is I went ahead and tied a string from the front of the camera down to the tripod, then up to the back of the camera to tension it a little bit, then readjusted the focus and everything. I think it may have worked. I waited for sort of a break in the wind, and I did one sheet of Provia, one sheet of Velvia. And it was a really sort of calm, even sort of light. So I'm really curious how it's gonna turn out, whether it's one of those photos I'm gonna look at and say, that's great, I like it. Or I'm gonna look at it and say, it looks like a chopped off tree. So we'll see how that goes. But that makes a total of 4 sheets of film exposed today, which is pretty awesome on my first day here in Zion. So the plan for tomorrow morning is to head up to the east side, see if there's any ice to work with, see if there's any sort of barren trees to work with to photograph. There's some really cool stuff there. But the plan for tonight is to load some film and get some dinner. So looking for the dinner, not so much the load and film, but gotta do it.
If you love this content and want to help support my journey, you can do so by subscribing to my YouTube channel, telling a friend, or sending a voluntary contribution of just $24 a year with PayPal or Patreon, and depend on the generous support of people like you to produce this ad-free content. For more information on how to support me, please visit the donations section of my website. Thanks in advance for your support.